Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a really cool team built by a player called Max. I've linked his Twitter in the description below as well as the rental code, and Max was able to finish top 16 in Wolf and A-Drive's Champions Cup tournament this past weekend. That tournament had over 1,500 players in it, so to be able to place in the top 16 is super impressive, and he did it with a really cool team featuring Slurpuff and male offensive Indeede-M. Lots of other cool things on this team as well, including close combat, weakness policy Incineroar, and wide lens Venusaur. So thank you to Max for providing the team, for making it public, and congratulations to him on a really impressive run in that tournament. So yeah, you might be wondering what the deal with Slurpuff is, and it's basically another Fake Tears user, but it's really cool because it combos really nicely with Indeede-M. Indeede-M sets up the Psychic Surge, the Psychic Seed gets activated, makes Slurpuff bulkier, also allows it to just outspeed everything because of Unburden. So what that allows you to do is go for really fast Fake Tears. You can also go for Yawn or After You, so a lot of defensive flexible options with this Slurpuff. And one of the reasons that makes it unique is that a lot of Fake Tears users that are common in this format are Prankster users, like Whimsicott or Grimmsnarl, but Prankster Pokemon can't affect Dark-type Pokemon with their priority attacks. So with Slurpuff, you still outspeed pretty much the entire format, but you also are able to Fake Tears Pokemon like Tyranitar and Incineroar, which are, really common in this format. So this team is really cool. The Indeede actually Dynamaxes very frequently as well because it combos so nicely with Slurpuff, and you can often just overwhelm your opponents with offense. And one of the other things that's really neat about the combo is that players often have no idea what's coming their way when they see it on turn one. So, a lot of people don't expect it to just go for a Dynamax and start attacking. In fact, people actually expect the Indeede to perhaps maybe want to use Trick Room because there are, that is the only really Trick Room user on this team, and there is a Torkoal on this team. So, yeah, there are a lot of cool things you can do with it, so I'm excited to play some games with it. So let's jump into it. As always, if you guys enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And let's see. This kind of feels like an early meta team with the Mudsdale, but it does have the Obstagoon as well. So let's see. I mean, I could just go Slurpuff Indeede and just show you guys what that's all about. It's a really speedy duo. And the one thing I'm worried about, I guess, is Snarls from the Arcanine. That could be a little obnoxious, but honestly I think that's not bad to go with in this game. And in the back, I'm actually kind of content just going Torkoal Venusaur. Has really good coverage. The one thing I do have to watch out for is probably my opponent's Incineroar. Or sorry, not Incineroar, Arcanine. But we do have Earth Power on Venusaur, we have Sleep Powder on that, and the Indeede itself will actually dunk on Arcanine. So it's not the biggest problem. But yeah, excited to show you guys what this team is all about. I had a lot of fun playing with it in a couple practice games before recording this. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And question of the day, I'm curious if any of you guys managed to tune into the Champions Cup this past weekend. If so, what did you think about it? If you played in it, how did you do? And let me know all your thoughts, whether on the tournament, the organization, the streams, the teams, all of that stuff. Let me know in the comments below. Obstagoon Arcanine. Okay. This is a little tricky. But if we can just snipe Arcanine turn 1, that'd be kind of cool. I'm also thinking in turn 1 just going for a... I mean, let's see. The main problem with Obstagoon is obviously we can't hit it very hard with Indeede. We do have Max Strike, actually. I mean, we could just Fake Tears Max Strike it now that I think about it. I'm not sure that would KO, though, if we get Snarled. The thing is that Arcanine is the main issue because it walls me pretty hard. I really do want to go for this Fake Tears Max Strike play. The only problem is if Obstagoon maxes. If not, this should definitely KO. And we also get the speed decrease on Arcanine, which is helpful. So I think my opponent actually probably led the two strongest things against what I brought. So props to them. That's a very good lead. Now, there are a bunch of questions. Do you have Snarl? Does it hit the Indeede? Do you Dynamax? Okay, no Dynamax. So this should just KO Obstagoon, which I think is going to be really important. Even if we get Snarled now. Oh, we're just faster anyway. Okay, nice. Okay. Perfect. Actually, yeah, I don't know why I was surprised that Indeede was faster there. Because I'm pretty sure this isn't Modest, it's Timid. So it allows you to outspeed a lot of cool threats. And there's Snarl, but that's fine. That's a really good turn 1 for us. Mainly because I didn't actually, like, I had no way to hit the Obstagoon otherwise with Indeede. So now what we can do is go for Fake Tears and just max Mindstorm into anything. My opponent is kind of lacking on the speed department on their side. If we can knock out Arcanine this next turn, then we can just win the game by pressing Yawn the following turn. Yawn is obviously already a really good attack in this format, but it's even better if you're able to... Yeah, I think what we can do this next turn is Fake Tears, max Mindstorm Arcanine, and then Yawn Lapras. I kind of want to Yawn Lapras here outright, though, because I think you definitely max it, honestly. So I'm also down to just Yawn the Lapras and max Mindstorm the Arcanine. Yeah, because if the Lapras does max and I call it correctly... Oh, my opponent actually didn't go for it. Wow. Nice play. That's fine. If we Fake Tears max Mindstorm, we would have just won the game instantly there. I really didn't think Lapras would actually protect there, but nice proactive play there. Saves my opponent. And as you can see, we unfortunately miss out on the knockout just by a little bit of HP, but... Arkanine's just going for Snarl again. Also interesting to note, it did not have a berry. It doesn't look like a Assault Vest either, so I don't know what item it is. Yeah, now it's a super safe Yawn into the Lapras. I'm wondering if there's any reason to max Strike instead of max Mindstorm. Your switch-ins are Corviknight, which is not... Like, I could see Corviknight being in the back here. But I don't know if a max Flare KOs the Arcanine. So I guess Mindstorming here is fine. I'm just going to go for, yeah, I'm just to double check. I'm going to Yawn the Lapras and just max Mindstorm Arcanine. The beautiful thing about this team is that you have two ways to induce sleep as well, and sleep is so big. If you like can put a Dynamax Pokemon to sleep, it obviously completely shuts them down. They're actually going to Dynamax, looks like the the Lapras. So this is obviously really good because we KO the Arcanine and then Lapras falls asleep after this turn. So it basically only gets 2 turns of Dynamax as opposed to 3, which is a big deal. Anytime you can even reduce 1 turn away, you know, it's huge. But honestly, was really surprised about that Protect last turn, and a nice play. My opponent was probably worried about a double up, into the Lapras. Nice Hoping Hand as well. I really want to know what item the Arcanine has. It might be Goggles. Either way, though, we'll KO the Arcanine. We'll get the Yawn off, which is good. And the cool thing is that, so this is the other beautiful thing about Slurpuff, after you Eruption is a thing as well. So even if Indeede goes down here, as G-Max Resonance comes off, I don't even know if this KOs, honestly, let's see. Oh, it's definitely not KOing Slurpuff. Yeah. Now we could just Yawn Lapras' partner as well, and I don't think my opponent can win against Torkoal, Venusaur late game. We can also just go for a Fake Tears, depending on what's coming in here. For example, if it's Corviknight, I'm not sure we even need to put it to sleep. It's actually Mudsdale, which I think I would still prefer to put to sleep, yeah. Okay. So Mudsdale comes out. Yeah, Yawning that is super safe. So I think I'm just going to go for a Yawn and a Psychic. Yeah. With all special attackers, I don't really need to worry about stamina. It's probably Assault Vest Mudsdale, but... by getting the Yawn off this turn, we get a free switch it into Venusaur the following turn. Actually, maybe Fake Tearsing it just would have been better. So then, yeah, because then Fake Tears plus Psychic and Fake Tears Energy Ball maybe just KOs. Let's see how much Psychic does here. Not very much, yeah, that's definitely AV. But we actually get a special defense drop, which is a little lucky. And no surprise to see Stamina there. Yep, so I think we probably get double KO'd here, but that's fine. Max Geyser comes out, but this is the great thing because... The Lapras will fall asleep after this turn, so this gives us the free switch in into Torkoal, changes the weather, and we've got Venusaur as well. I guess my one fear is and Heavy Slam comes out, which isn't surprising. My one fear is probably going to be the Mudsdale one-shotting Venusaur. Could happen. Because here, you have to, first of all, make the correct target. I do have Protect on Torkoal, but I don't have it on Venusaur, unfortunately. The good thing is that my opponent can't change the weather anymore, unless you have Rain Dance on Lapras for some reason. So, like a safe play, I would say, is to just protect the Torkoal and Giga Drain the Mudsdale. Sorry, not Giga Drain, Energy Ball. I do actually have to call here. I mean, it's safer to protect, yeah. I mean, there's no way a high horsepower one-shots us, so my opponent would need a critical hit onto the Venusaur, because Lapras obviously isn't attacking this turn. So I'm just going to play it safe. Even if my opponent targets Venusaur, they need a critical hit. Whereas if I actually attack with Torkoal and Mudsteel one-shots us, we actually could very likely lose the game. Oh, never mind. We just one-shot it. Was that another crit? Well, that made the match easier for us, but I think we had it in the bag more or less anyway. I mean, it wasn't a guaranteed victory, though, for us. So it would have come down to who Mudsteel targeted, and did you go for the crit onto Venusaur? If not, then I think we're just guaranteed to win this game. Yeah, like, even if you do damage onto the Venusaur, I win this 2v1. Even if Lapras wakes up, like, that's fine. I'm just pressuring with so much damage at this point. Screens are up, sure, but, like, this is, you know, Energy Ball with stab. But obviously got a little bit lucky there with the special defense drop and the crit. But that being said, the Mudsteel's falling asleep after this turn anyway, right? So it's basically absolutely useless for at least a turn the following turn. So it looks like Lapras was actually just trying to protect there. So it reveals that it does have protect, if anything, which is always valuable information. I think it's going to be weakness policy. Actually, it didn't end up mattering anyway because my opponent ended up trying to go for protect. But I think in that position, you actually try not to protect with the Lapras. No, not that it matters, I guess, because we KO. But yeah, in that position, actually, I think what you want to go for is just launch the... I guess protect makes sense, now that I think about it. If you protect, then I probably actually wouldn't gamble on Sleep Powdering, so I guess I would just Energy Ball you, and then if you wake up there, then you would have, and you hit the Hydro Pump onto Torkoal, you actually probably win the game. So I guess protect actually makes sense, because, I mean, what I was thinking is you just go for the Hydro Pump. I guess that would also work, but protect seems to be safer there. That being said, if you do protect and just wake up, I can just put you back to sleep, right? So, but if you knock out the Torkoal, I guess it's the same position. So actually, yeah, I think protect makes a lot of sense. So we got a little bit lucky there in the end game. I'm okay with how I played, but the game would have been over a lot earlier if I just went for the Fake Tears Max Mindstorm play into the Arcanine, the turn I wanted to. And I probably should have just prioritized that knockout. I was just like confident Lapras was going to Dynamax that turn when it protected, and it didn't, so that kind of set me back a bit. Instead, if we get the knockout onto Arcanine, then we're up 4-2 with another turn of Dynamax attack from the Indeedee. So it just makes things easier. But with Arcanine, or sorry, Torkoal and Venusaur, I felt pretty good about that one. We're up against potential Tailwind this time, which makes things a little trickier. Dusclops Torkoal isn't, like, terrible here. Could even max the Incineroar, but I'm not sure how much I like that. Part of me is still thinking just Slurpuff Indeedee, honestly. Mainly because Slurpuff, once again, pressures with Yawn. I could just go Slurpuff Indeedee, Torkoal, Venusaur again, but part of me wants Incineroar this time around, mainly to deal with the... the starter. I'm blanking out on its name. Not Torracat. That's Incineroar. It is late right now. What do I want to do? I think Torkoal Venusaur. Even with Resist, like, it allows Venusaur to outspeed things in Sleep Powder. I don't know, Trick Room might have been better in this game, but I have to deal with Taunt. I have to deal with Dracovish, kind of, and the Hydreigon, which can just Dark Pulse and do a lot of damage. I don't know, maybe it was still worth it to bring Trick Room in this mode. But it's not like Torkoal even sleeps under Trick Room in this game. Rangoor Sylveon, okay. I want to just Fake Tears here. I mean, I could Fake Tears Max Mindstorm into Sylveon. What is sweeping me under Trick Room for my opponent's team? I guess because my opponent didn't go the Whimsicott mode, I should be rolling my speed advantage here, though. So I'm leaning towards Fake Tearsing the Rangaroo and Max Striking. I don't know if that KOs, that's the problem. But I'm going to go for it. I mean, Sylveon could also protect here. Like, you could just try to protect Trick Room, thinking, oh, I'm pretty safe here. Sylveon could also Hyper Voice or Yawn. Hyper Voice won't do that much damage. Yawning Indeedee could prove to be slightly problematic for us. Let's see. Either way, though, I love leading this because, like, I know if I were to play against it, I would have no idea what it even does. Okay, so no Protect from Sylveon. So we could have sniped that off, but I don't mind it because I think you probably try to Trick Room here, right? That would make the most sense to me. So if Max Strike KOs, then this is all good, but it could be Max HP Spidef or Rangaroo. Okay, it's not. Or even if it is, maybe that just KOs, I don't know. But either way, we get the knockout, get the speed decrease on Sylveon, which doesn't really matter too much, but if we get a couple more, I mean, maybe Torkoal can outspeed it, depending on how it's trained. And it's just going to be Hyper Voice. Yep. Nice. See if it's Throat Spray. It is indeed Throat Spray. So here's what's interesting. Normally with this lead, I'm pushing the tempo, but I'm Dynamaxing first, so my opponent has more flexibility in who they want to Dynamax. This Dracovish actually comes out. You know, the thing with Dracovish is you might be scarfed, so I can just go for After You onto Indeedee and max Mindstorm Dracovish. I think I'm just going to go for that. I don't see much reason not to. I don't think Hyper Voice even KOs after the Throat Spray onto either Pokemon, so there's the After You. Allows Indeedee to go right after, and we're going to get the max Mindstorm off against Dracovish, boosted by Psychic Terrain, Life Orb as well. Beautiful! Oh, that's so sick. That's so sick. Okay, nice. And another Hyper Voice comes out our way, but does not KO either Pokemon. We've still got Torkoal Venusaur in the back. We've still got one turn to Dynamax. So that is one of the really cool things you can do with this team. As Cinderace is my opponent's last one. Surely Cinderace maxes, right? We're not in the clear quite yet. But we have Yawn. So I want to just Yawn the Cinderace and protect Indeedee. I think you definitely max Cinderace. As soon as Cinderace falls asleep, we should win with Torkoal Venusaur, I think. Well, that was interesting. I went for Sucker Punch in Psychic Terrain, so that would have failed. It actually would have been better if we just attacked. You know what's crazy? Now this gives my opponent an out, because you can actually max the Sylveon. I can't believe that. Wow. So it has Sucker Punch. Okay. So now you have to max the Sylveon and go for max Fairy to set up terrain. I mean, if we just attacked, if we like fake tiers doubled up into the Cinderace, that would have been game over, but obviously I was not expecting my opponent to go for that. Perhaps fake tiers is still better because of Earth Power onto Cinderace afterwards. But that's actually kind of frustrating, no lie. I mean, you just go for Max Fairy, but I think maybe this is still fine, because hopefully Heat Wave will put the Cinderace in KO range from my Venusaur. Yeah, so I'm just going to Heat Wave and Psychic into Cinderace. Sylveon should max here to prevent Cinderace from falling asleep. I guess you could still max Cinderace and maybe a double up actually KOs my Torkoal. Well, that could be bad too. Should have thought about that actually. Yeah, but Sylveon just correctly max. I can't believe my opponent didn't max last turn. I mean, they must have forgotten about Psychic Terrain, because otherwise maxing is definitely the correct play. Sucker Punch gets you nothing there. Okay. What? I guess my opponent just forgot about Sucker Punch this entire time. But that should seal up this game then. And, wow, we just one-shot that thing. That's so strong. That's so strong. Indeedee picked up so many knockouts this game. Oh, man. And, yeah, there's Max Starfall. I figured once we got that Yawn off, we would have been good. I was just really expecting the Dynamax. So I was like, oh, you Dynamax the Cinderace, you try to knock out our Indeedee, and then go from there. But that's the thing, you know, Slurpuff Indeedee, such a surprise duel that players just don't know what to do against it often. And this Indeedee literally just picked up 3 one-hit KOs in this game. So I'm just going to Protect and Psychic, get the free switch and into Venusaur. So if there's any game that highlights the power of offensive Indeedee when paired with Slurpuff, it's this game. And that's why the After You stuff is really cool too. Allows you to outspeed even like Choice Scarf Pokemon, as we were able to do in this game. We actually hang on from that too, but let's see who Starfall goes into. Regardless, there's no way for my opponent to really win at this point. Actually targets Torkoal as well, so nice. But yeah, that's why I wanted to prioritize knocking out a Oranguru. I was worried especially about like Choice Banded Dracovish, because I was like, if you are banded and you set up Trick Room, you might just be able to sweep me completely. So I need to deny Trick Room turn 1, which is what happened. And my opponent did go with the slow mode, which I was pretty happy to see, because I was really worried about the Whimsicott mode. But, I mean, I probably lose both Pokemon this turn, but now I get the free switch in into Venusaur. I can just Sludge Bomb Sylveon, and that'll be game. So, yeah. Obviously, this game could have played out a little differently if my opponent didn't forget about the Psychic Terrain. But, I think if you don't forget about Psychic Terrain, I would think you would want to Dynamax the Cinderace, because it's just such a stronger Dynamax candidate in the late game. And if my opponent did go for that, then you can't deny the sleep, which is why I thought, like, oh, if I just yawn it, like, we've got this in the bag. So, yeah, surprising turn of events, but we're able to pick up another win here. Either way, though, you can see, once again, the power of Indeedee plus the Slurpuff as a lead. It just puts on so much pressure early on, and you know, the beautiful thing is not only do you have Fake Tears pressure, but you also do some decent damage with Dazzling Gleam. You have the After You pressure to outspeed, you know, things that otherwise would outspeed the Indeedee. And most importantly, you have that, or not most importantly, but you also have that fast yawn as well. I'm really curious on the Cinderace item, actually. So, yeah, Pixie Plate. That's interesting. There's no reason for that. Third Spray, Mystic Water Dracovish. So it wasn't choiced, actually. Life Orb Hydreigon, and Safety Goggles Cinderace. So, the Goggles actually could have messed us up with Sleep Powder Venusaur in the back, so I'm glad that did not end up coming out. We actually break into the top 100 with that battle, so that's kind of hype. Yeah, otherwise, though, I really didn't want Trick Room to go up, and we were able to deny it, so that was good. Oranguru is an interesting choice, an interesting Pokemon as well. You know, it's not the most common Trick Room user in this metagame by any means, but once my opponent led with that and not Whimsicott, I was like, okay, you've obviously opted for the slower mode of this team, so I could potentially get swept under Trick Room, and I don't want that to happen. But yeah, I mean, Sylveon, if it had Yawn, could have caused some problems. But I think it's very tempting to just click Hyper Voice in front of Indeedee and Slurpuff, especially because how many people are using, you know, Dynamax Indeedee in the first place. So the element of surprise, once again, can really come up huge for this team. This next team we're going up against kind of reminds me of like a VGC 2013 team, honestly, with the first 5 Pokemon. But also kind of similar to the team Eduardo Cunha was using earlier this year with Jellicent. So, let's see. This matchup is interesting. I think I'll probably bring in Incineroar this time around because there is Tyranitar and Excadrill, which we don't have a great matchup with Slurpuff and Indeedee. So I might not lead Slurpuff and Indeedee this time around. Part of me wants to go the Trick Room route with Incineroar, and I was going to say Incin, but Incineroar, Dusclops, Torkoal, Venusaur. We could also go Incineroar, Venusaur, and like switch into Torkoal. I just don't think Slurpuff Indeedee is very good here. It's not terrible though, I guess, right? Because we could max Flare. We don't do damage against Tyranitar. That's bad. Yeah, I think we have to go the Incineroar route this game because of Tyranitar. This is where Weakness Policy Incineroar could come in huge, right? Like, we get the Intimidate off, maybe get hit by a super effective attack, Dynamax, and just sweep through. But, yeah, Slurpuff Indeedee doesn't seem that great against T-Tar Excadrill, specifically, so I don't want to lead with it this time around. And I think we've proven its worth in the first 2 games today. So, let's see. Give me Jellicent Incineroar. Okay, it's not the worst, but also not the best. Slurpuff Indeedee actually would have won us, like, turn 1 super hard, because we could just Fake Tears, Max Mindstorm into the Jellicent. But, I mean, this also wasn't terrible for us. His Incineroar is faster, okay. I mean, you probably Fake Out into my Venusaur, right? But I don't necessarily want to stay in, because I've Intimidated. Well, I guess switching out here is kind of awkward, though. Yeah, I doubt you Water Spout here. You have to Fake Out Venusaur because otherwise you risk getting Sleep Powdered. But the question is, what do you do with Jellicent? Do you Trick Room? You just go for a Water type attack? I think I'm just going to Darkest Lariat and switch into Dusclops. The problem is that this lead actually beats me decently hard. Such a shame. Every time I don't bring a lead because I'm like, it's just not very good here. It actually would have been really, really good. Good to confirm the items there, though. And there's Fake Out. Wow, it actually went into Incineroar. Okay. And Strang Sap. That is a read. Good read. Definitely a good read. Okay. Now, this is the awkward thing, right? We can't really switch out with this Incineroar. We could bring in Torkoal, but I don't really want to do that. Huh. Strength Sap's really interesting. It's at -2, so obviously not doing much damage. I'd like to activate the Weakness Policy still. I think I'm just going to Darkest Lariat and Nightshade this turn. I want to switch Incineroar out, but this turn I want to see what my opponent goes for. I wouldn't be surprised if Flare Blitz goes into Incineroar. Actually targets Dusclops. Okay, I mean that does negligible damage. And Imprison. Okay. So it's Fast Jellicent with Imprison. Wow, this is so frustrating because we would have just wrecked it with Indeede. But obviously can't think about that right now given what we brought. Okay, I definitely want to switch out Incineroar this time around. Question is whether my opponent calls it in Flare Blitz. I think you Strength Sap. If I'm my opponent, I would Strength Sap and Flare Blitz the Incineroar slot, honestly. But I think I'm just going to go out into Venusaur. This is slightly risky. Nightshade Jellicent. Okay, Incineroar switches out. That's actually really good for us, regardless of what my opponent goes for here, then. That's actually really good. Nice. Kind of a frustrating start to the game, but I still think we have more than enough resources to win. It's just been slower than really it needed to be. But I still don't regret my decision to bring Incineroar, because I think this is an excellent Dynamax Pokemon in the late game. Venusaur could even max here, but I think I'll probably lean towards Sleep Powdering. Yep, so there's Strength Sap onto Venusaur. Good. It's not really too much of a problem. Let's see how much it heals back. The main thing is that we get the Incineroar out of the way here. Strength Sap is such a good move. Heals so much. Okay, so we'll get Nightshade off. Huh. Okay. This is definitely an interesting position to be in. This Tyranitar is pretty scary offensively, right? What I want to do is either Sleep Powder Tyranitar or just max Overgrowth the Jellicent. But I think I still want to Dynamax Incineroar, quite honestly. So I think I am just going to Sleep Powder Tyranitar and Nightshade the Jellicent. The problem with this play is that I might not need to be clicking Sleep Powder right now, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. Incineroar is going to come in, though, which is fine by me. Yeah, that's also part of the reason I didn't want to just max the Venusaur immediately, so that's good. We get free Nightshade damage off, which is always good against that thing as well. If Tyranitar max... Okay, actually protects. Interesting. Oh man, if I Sleep Powder and Nightshaded the Jellicent slot, that would have been just GG, honestly. But good play by my opponent. This next one is interesting because you probably want to fake out the Venusaur because you obviously don't want to eat up a Sleep Powder. But then what do you do with Tyranitar? Do you just max Darkness Dusclops? Because what I could do is switch into Incineroar here, get the Intimidate off. Could Trick Room now, right? Yeah, I can. It is risky eating a potential max Rockfall here, though. I might actually be content just staying in with both Pokemon. If you KO the Venusaur, I get that free switch it into Incineroar. And I can maybe go with the Trick Room route. Alternatively, I could Dynamax Venusaur, but I'm not really boosting my defense, which isn't great. So I think I'm going to just Sleep Powder Tyranitar, because my opponent could also read me switching out. And I'm actually going to just continuously Nightshade Incineroar, because we know it's Hoglock Berry and not Citrus. Alright, he's going to max Tyranitar. So the safest play would have been for my opponent to fake out the Venusaur and max Darkness. I maybe should have Trick Roomed, actually. It also obviously could be a double up onto the Venusaur. Now, if for some reason my opponent really gambles and doesn't even target Venusaur and we hit the Sleep Powder on Tyranitar, I think this game is just over. But I think my opponent's been playing this super well. Yep, okay, there's Fake Out onto Venusaur. Flinches. Max Rockfall. So that's probably going to Venusaur. That's why I didn't want to switch in the Incineroar, honestly. Yep. And does KO us, okay. But now we can Dynamax our Incineroar. Which makes this very interesting. Okay, let's see. We can Dynamax our Incineroar. We have our weakness policy. We do a lot of damage. And this whole time I was saying that Incineroar was our main win con. So that's kind of what I was setting myself up for. I just don't think Venusaur does enough in this game. And yeah, despite how good of a lead the Slurpuff and Indeede would have been, it still wouldn't have just like won us the game. Because it doesn't have any matchup against the Tyranitar. Just double checking this Incineroar's stats. Yeah, it's Brave. So I think we Trick Room here. I think we max. We max Knuckle into the Tyranitar, and we Trick Room. Actually, the problem is if you just double up on a Dusclops and KO us, you might. So the other play I'm thinking of is Max Knuckle into Incineroar and Ally Switch. I think I'm actually going to go for that. Because I think if I'm my opponent... Oh, Incineroar switches out, though. Is it Jellicent? Thought you could go for that. I guess Max Darkness probably still KOs me anyway. But that's such a frustrating turn. I don't think Max Darkness KOs with Intimidate. So I thought my opponent had to double up on a Dusclops to deny me Trick Room. Oh, that was a really good switch by them. That might have just won them the game. Because you can strength set my Incineroar now, too. Oh, that was so bad on my end. It's not the end of the world, I guess. But now you can imprison safely. Went for Max Darkness, yeah. Okay. It's not the end of the world. This is still doable. I really don't think that would have KO'd Dusclops unless you're special for some reason. What I should have done, though, was actually Trick Roomed instead of Nightshaded the turn that I gave up my Venusaur. Because then we just sweep under Trick Room. If you imprison here, my Max Darkness will just deny the imprison and I'll get the Trick Room off anyway. So I think I just Max Darkness Jellicent and Trick Room here. I'm pretty sure, but I mean if Jellicent has Shadow Ball, now I think you Max Darkness Shadow Ball into Dusclops. But my opponent Max Rock Falls. Okay, that's huge because we should survive that. That activates our weakness policy. It might be Incineroar time. Let's see. Might just be Incineroar time. This is still anyone's game. I don't know what my opponent's last Pokemon is. Oh, he just went for Strength Sap too. Oh, he's giving me Trick Room then. Okay. You should KO with Max Darkness, I believe. And we get Trick Room up. Okay. We're in business. We needed that. Okay, that's big. It's very big. Spadef drops honestly are great onto a Tyranitar as well because Max is going to end. And then we've got Torkoal for the late game. And we get Trick Room up now, which is great too. Sandstorm is gone as well. You probably, I would think, want to bring in Incineroar. That Jellicent switching was just super good. I don't think Max Darkness was KOing, so I was thinking you had to double up on a Dusclops to deny me the Trick Room. So, job well done by my opponent there. Okay. So Incineroar comes out. Gonna get another Intimidate onto us. This is a very close late game. We have one turn of Max left. We know it's Aguav Berry and Sin. Minus Spadef. I mean, there's not much stopping me, right, from Max Knuckling Incineroar and Nightshading Tyranitar. The other play I'm actually thinking about is Bulldoze. No, I think you probably have Conkeldurr as your last one. Yeah. I'm gonna Nightshade and just Knuckle. I think that's fine. Because we knock out Incineroar, which is a really big threat to us. Okay, he doesn't protect Tyranitar, but that's fine. It's gonna do 25%-ish. I think it's, what, 207 HP at max HP? We should KO Incineroar here. Yeah. If my opponent doesn't have Excadrill as the last one, or sorry, Conkeldurr as the last one, we win this free. But it should be... Sorry, if they don't have Conkeldurr as the last one, we win this free because of Torkoal, but it should be Conkeldurr. Ooh, we dodge a Rock Slide. RNG has really been on my side in the last week. Although I'm pretty sure Conkeldurr Mach Punch still KOs us. It's Excadrill though, yeah, okay, then my opponent didn't really have an out unless you crit that. Because we have Torkoal in the back. Nice. Very nice. Okay. So let's just make sure we seal up this game. Because it's still possible to lose. There's 3 turns of Trick Room. I think it's fine to just Nightshade Tyranitar and Flare Blitz Excadrill. Yeah, because that guarantees me the most amount of damage. Yeah, Tyranitar protects, but that's fine. Because there's a special defense drop onto the Tyranitar, so Eruption plus Nightshade should KO that. And obviously any attack will KO Excadrill. what I didn't want to do was, yeah, if I did this the other way around where I close combated the Tyranitar and Nightshaded Excadrill, then I do less damage. I guess it doesn't really end up mattering because I just need chip damage onto the Excadrill. So that Rock Slide ends up not really mattering at all because even if... Yeah, I guess the only thing is if you crit us that last turn because it was at -1. So if it crits us, then it knocks us out through Dynamax. But the thing is, even if you crit us, it just gives me a free switch in into Torkoal. And then I can just click Eruption Nightshade and my opponent doesn't have a way to beat it. So because my opponent didn't bring Conkeldurr, I figured if I get Trick Room up in this game, we should win. That's why I prioritized Dynamaxing Incineroar earlier on. So I'm just going to Nightshade the Tyranitar now in Eruption. Honestly, Nightshade plus Eruption might KO Tyranitar. Like, the Nightshade brings Tyranitar just under or over 50%. And then this is Eruption boosted by Sun, boosted by Charcoal against -1 Spadef Tyranitar. So let's see. That last round maximized the amount of damage I could have done, so I'll take that. I'm really curious how much this does against -1 special defense Tyranitar. I honestly have no idea. Let's see. Yeah, that's enough, I think. Beautiful. So this game was tricky because of the Imprison stuff, but the main thing I was surprised about was my opponent just giving me Trick Room. The max Rockfall Strength Slap play caught me off. Actually, my opponent can still win if they get a double protect and then flinch us to Oblivion. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I'm just gonna Solar Beam and Nightshade. Okay, they don't even go for the protect. Yeah, I mean, there's one more turn of Trick Room, so if you want to win, you have to go for a double protect and then you literally have to just flinch both Pokemon for like, you probably have to get like 10 flinches total or something like that. So, you know, not a 0% chance, but it was pretty good for us once we were able to get Trick Room up. So I felt pretty good about winning, yeah, once we got Trick Room up. And part of what makes this Incineroar really strong is that it actually has Max Knuckle, so it has a way to hit the Tyranitar and the Incineroar. Otherwise, like I said, I thought the matchup was pretty bad outside of that. So Conkeldurr definitely would have given us some problems, but that didn't end up coming out. Although this wasn't actually min speed, so Incineroar would have undersped it, or outsped it in Trick Room. Was Weakness Policy Tyranitar, so we never activated that. Really interesting set with the Imprison here as well as the Trick Room, but no Shadow Ball. So I thought one play my opponent could have gone for was Max Darkness Water Spout, the turn that I ended up getting Trick Room up. Because I think if I get Trick Room up, I just win this game. Especially considering that my opponent had Excadrill in the back. But the Ally Switch might have thrown them off guard, you know, a little bit the previous turn. And I misplayed this game as well because the turn my Venusaur got doubled up into, I should have just clicked Trick Room because even if I get Trick Room up and Venusaur like didn't get KO'd that turn, that's still fine because I still have multiple turns of Trick Room to work with. And because it is Brave Incineroar, like as long as I have some turns to work with, I should have the advantage. But that switching from Incineroar into Jellicent really caught me off guard. I thought was a really good play. So things look a little bit scary, but we were able to pull through. Anyway, that's going to be it for our first episode with this team. I hope you guys enjoyed because it's a lot of fun, has a lot of cool stuff on it, and overall, I'm having a blast playing with it, so I'm excited to feature some more games with it. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you guys enjoyed, please share your support by leaving a like, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. All right, peace.